J.D. Vance revealed that he believes that what are reported as alien sightings are actually demons living among us, and no one even noticed because his boss baby has been filling his diaper in the biggliest way probably ever. He fired his attorney general, Pam Bondi, for not doing enough illegal stuff for him. And this is how well liked she is. Hours after
Easter weekend was supposed to be calm, cozy, and just a little messy in that fun, harmless way, with chocolate everywhere, peaceful moments, and probably one questionable family dish that nobody wants to admit they messed up. Instead, it somehow turned into a full-blown political show that felt like it skipped rehearsal and jumped straight into chaos. While kids were out hunting for Easter eggs, Donald Trump was out here dropping ultimatums like he was running the world's most heated group chat, stirring up tensions with Iran and even setting off rumors about hospital visits.
Another crazy day here in the United States of America. Probably the most dangerous episode of The Celebrity of President yet today. It was D-Day. In this case, the D stands for dementia, but it was D-Day today. We're coming to you from Los Angeles for the local time just after 5 p.m., which was Trump's deadline for Iran to, quote, open the effing strait or you'll be living in hell. He gave a hard cutoff time of right now.
Before we go any further, hit that like button and subscribe. Because trust me, you do not want to miss what is coming next. While most families were probably busy arguing over who gets the last slice of cake, Donald Trump decided to mark Easter by turning international diplomacy into something that felt more like a dramatic season finale, with the tension building, the warnings staying unclear, and just enough confusion to keep everyone watching while also making people a little stressed.
What do you imagine? Let me set the scene, okay? You're finishing your Easter brunch, cleaning up, the kids are running out to the yard to find jelly beans, and suddenly your 79-year-old grandpa stands up and he yells, "Open the strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah." You'd put him in the car and drive him straight to the emergency room, right? I mean, the whole family will be crying.
It all started with a series of social media posts that felt less like official statements and more like a teaser that refused to actually explain what was going on. Instead of giving people clear answers, it created this constant feeling of anticipation, almost like major decisions affecting the world were being revealed in a way that was designed to keep everyone waiting and wondering what the next update would bring.
A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. 4 months ago, I agree, I'm against civilizations being annihilated as well. Thank you for taking a stand. Realize this is the same man that he was bitching about losing the Nobel Peace Prize. Now he's threatening a civilization with death. He went from Mahatma Gandhi to General Zod like that.
The situation with Iran quickly became the main focus, not because there was some clear plan being laid out, but because the tone kept changing so much that it honestly felt like someone was flipping through different scripts and choosing whichever one sounded the most dramatic in that exact moment.
All the days we woke up to this. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. I believe that's a letter from Paul to the Corinthians. You know, we've heard the word unhinged a lot this weekend, probably more than any weekend ever, but
one moment, it sounded like some serious action was about to happen, the kind of thing that makes experts sit up and start questioning everything they had written down. Then, all of a sudden, that urgency seemed to disappear, almost like someone quietly put it on the shelf, as if the whole situation was just a preview for something that might never even happen. And that is the problem with treating serious global issues like episodes of a TV show, because real life does not pause for a commercial break so everyone can catch up. Still, the pacing felt exactly like that, with the tension constantly rising and falling in a way that almost seemed staged. Then Jimmy Kimmel came back after being away for a week, and it was basically like opening your front door and realizing the entire neighborhood had somehow turned into a carnival overnight. The contrast between him being gone and everything that happened while he was away created the perfect setup for commentary, because it was not just one strange moment that stood out, it was an entire series of events, all fighting for the title of the most confusing one.
This is how it goes every single time. Trump says something insane. He says, "I'm going to kill everybody tomorrow at 5 p.m. We all freak out. And then he's like, "You know what, actually, I'll kill everyone in 2 weeks." And then we relax, and then he forgets he ever said it in the first place. He has the memory and the skin color of a goldfish. And maybe the worst part I mean, we know he's bananas, but maybe the worst part of all this is how relaxed the congressional Republicans are.
What really stood out was not just what was being said, but the way it was being delivered. There was this rhythm to it that felt less like careful planning and more like someone intentionally building suspense, dragging things out just enough to keep everyone wondering what was going to happen next. It felt more like entertainment pacing than official communication, where the anticipation was being carefully built just to keep people watching. At the same time, two completely different scenes were playing out. On one side, kids were rolling colorful eggs across the lawn, taking part in a tradition that was supposed to be simple, fun, and joyful. On the other side, conversations were suddenly moving into topics that felt completely out of place for an event centered around children and candy. Instead of keeping things light with jokes and smiles, the mood shifted into something much stranger, with political discussions that sounded more like they belonged on a late-night talk show than at a family celebration.
Today, the president and the first lady presided over the annual White House Easter egg roll. This is a tradition that dates back to 1878. And what you're about to see, even though we did not have video back when Rutherford B. Hayes was running the show, I have to believe that this would rank among, if not at the top, of the most preposterous moments in White House Easter egg roll history.
They were giving me a briefing about that, and they said normally when you're in very hostile territory, and I don't think it gets much.
The mention of signing documents and talking about personal legacy ideas created a moment that almost felt like a parody, like someone had taken a cheerful kids event and dropped commentary into it that clearly belonged somewhere else. The contrast was impossible to miss. There is something genuinely strange about watching a happy holiday scene while also hearing people talk about political rivalries and long-term ambitions. Jimmy Kimmel leaned right into that awkwardness, pointing out how the line between serious leadership and pure spectacle seems to be getting more and more blurred. The fact that a holiday event could suddenly become a place for talking about technical details and big plans for the future added another layer of irony that basically wrote itself. At that point, it almost felt like the Easter Bunny had been replaced by someone who accidentally wandered into a policy meeting and just decided to stay.
He threatens to annihilate his civilization. They're like, well, you know how he is. He's a big talker. He yaps. And it's always 2 weeks. He's like a conscientious employee. He always gives 2 weeks' notice.
I'll be making a big decision on the Paris Accord over the next 2 weeks.
We're signing a health care plan within 2 weeks. We're going to call it the Gold Card, and we're going to start selling hopefully in about 2 weeks. So we can just sit down, and I'll do this at some point over the next.
As if the weekend had not already brought enough unexpected moments, the rumor mill decided to add its own storyline, with claims spreading that Trump had been hospitalized. The speculation moved fast, grabbing attention almost immediately and turning uncertainty into a trending topic before anyone had even confirmed what was actually true. The White House responded quickly and strongly, pushing back against the claims, but somehow that only seemed to add more energy to the whole situation. Statements were released and clarifications were made, yet addressing the rumors appeared to make them spread even more, because strong reactions have a way of making people even more curious. And what made everything even more confusing was just how unclear the situation felt. Suddenly, health rumors had become another major part of an already complicated story that was filled with one unexpected turn after another.
There was a rumor going around over the weekend that Trump had been hospitalized at Walter Reed because he didn't appear in public from Wednesday to Sunday. The White House was aggressively defensive. They wrote, deranged liberals cook up insane conspiracy theories when POTUS goes 12 hours without speaking to press. Maybe that's because our deranged president never goes more than 12 minutes without speaking to press. But to be clear, Trump was not hospitalized this weekend, even though he definitely should have been.
Kimmel's commentary really captured all of this by treating the entire situation like a carefully produced show, where every new development added another piece to a puzzle that nobody even asked to solve. The humor came from just how strange everything felt. You had the constantly changing tone of global messaging, the oddly timed conversations happening during a holiday event, and then this rapid cycle of rumors followed by responses. There is a certain kind of comedy that shows up when things get so complicated that the only way to really understand them is to step back and realize just how weird they are. And this weekend seemed almost designed for that kind of chaos, delivering one moment after another that made you wonder how much unpredictability could possibly fit into such a short amount of time. Describing Trump's communication style as a series of promotional teasers honestly captured it perfectly. That uncertainty became the main feature, shaping the way people reacted to every new update. Every message left people wondering whether it was actually a final decision or just another step in a continuing chain of increasingly dramatic statements.
Last night, Mr. Ban Mail-in Voting voted by mail in a special election in Palm Beach. This is a district Trump won by double digits 2 years ago, and the district he lives in. But seems like maybe the magic is wearing off, because last night, a Democrat, Emily Gregory, scored a major upset over a Republican that Trump endorsed. She won one solidly red seat in the state legislature, which is a real kick in the golf balls for Mar-a-Lago.
The lack of any clear resolution kept everything moving in this constant state where nothing felt fully settled and almost everything seemed open to interpretation. An event that is usually all about simplicity and happiness somehow ended up reflecting a much more complicated atmosphere, and honestly, it felt both unintentionally funny and a little confusing. It showed how even the most familiar traditions can feel completely different when they happen in a changing environment. Kimmel's return gave him a chance to connect all these moments and show how they were tied together, presenting the weekend as this mix of overlapping storylines. And what made it especially interesting was how much it reflected a bigger trend in the way people get and consume information today. Serious topics are increasingly being delivered with an entertainment-style approach, and this weekend was a pretty clear example of how that combination can play out. In the end, it created a series of events that felt important, but at the same time strangely performative, leaving everyone trying to make sense of both sides at once.
I will tell you, I spent a lot of time this weekend thinking about, what's the name of that imbecile who runs the country? Donald Trump. Donald Trump. And I assume you saw what he posted about Robert Mueller over the weekend, which, got me thinking. He lies so much. He lies like more than any human, not only have I ever met, any human I've ever even read about, more than any real or fictional person. Like today, for instance, he gave Iran 48 hours to open the Strait of Hormuz before he would start bombing their power plant.
As everything slowly started to calm down, there was still this feeling that the weekend had somehow set a new standard for unpredictability. It was not just about what happened, but the way everything unfolded. Every moment kept people guessing and reacting in real time, creating this sense of controlled chaos where one thing seemed to lead straight into the next. From the changing tone of international messages to the unexpected turns during a holiday event, and then the quick spread of rumors followed by equally quick responses, the whole thing played out like a story that refused to follow any normal structure. Somewhere in the middle of all of it, the original purpose of the weekend was still there, but it almost felt like an afterthought, buried underneath a series of moments that turned a simple holiday into something much more complicated. It even felt like the tone was resetting every few hours, almost as if someone behind the scenes was choosing between serious, strange, or completely unbelievable, and whichever one they picked became the mood for the next update.
2 days ago, Trump said the Republican candidate, John Maples, had his complete and total endorsement and that John will never let you down. And he's right, he won't, because he's back to work as a financial planner. He lost the race. The idea that Trump voted by mail at the same time he's trying to ram this Save My Fat Orange Ass Act through Congress right now, which is a bill that would do away with mail-in ballots, has put leaders in the GOP in a bit of a pickle. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, was asked about this latest act.
The situation with Iran especially refused and clear, which made it even more attention-grabbing, also a little concerning. People watching were left trying to figure out whether each new statement meant something serious was actually happening or if it was just a dramatic buildup. It created this environment where even experienced analysts seemed unsure, almost like they were a script that kept changing halfway through. There was no clear ending, just the same cycle repeating without ever fully getting resolved. And what made it even more surreal was having all that serious uncertainty happening alongside the almost cartoon-like visuals of Easter celebration. It felt like the weekend was testing just how much can handle before they simply started accepting it as normal. Conversations from the Easter event also stayed in people's minds, not because they provided any because they raised questions that nobody expected to hear in a setting like that.
8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's the only president who teases a bombing the same way ABC promotes new episodes of Will Trent. And then today he changed that deadline. He said Iran could be taken out by midnight tomorrow, but he didn't specify if that's our tomorrow or their tomorrow. We could start a World War III over a time zone error. Things are running like a Swiss watch.
There was something persistent about the topics that kept coming up, almost like the setting had temporarily shifted from a simple family tradition into an extension of an ongoing political discussion. It blurred the lines between what was ceremonial and what was strategic, leaving everything feeling a little off. but somehow still fitting the overall mood of the weekend. At the same time, the hospitalization rumors never completely disappeared, even after official statements tried to shut them down. That is the strange thing about modern speculation, because sometimes responding to a rumor can actually keep it alive. And it added to the feeling that none of these moments were really separate. Instead, they all seemed connected, creating this bigger pattern where communication, spectacle, and public reaction kept feeding into each other. The humor came from realizing that this was no longer just a bunch of separate events, but one continuous flow where every moment somehow set up the next in ways nobody could predict. There was also this feeling that the audience had become part of the whole thing, reacting in real time and trying to figure out what actually mattered and what was simply noise.
The blockade in the Strait of Hormuz is preventing imports of nitrogen, which is a key ingredient in the fertilizer American farmers need to grow crops, to grow our food. The price of fertilizer has skyrocketed since the war started. But don't worry, because when the manure hits the fan, President Old MacDonald has a plan.
Hello, everyone. This is your favorite president, Donald J. Trump. Recently, I started a war in Iran. It's not a war, but it is a war. And for reasons I don't care to understand, we are out of fertilizer.
By the time the weekend finally started coming to an end, there was no clear conclusion, just a slow drop in intensity that left everything feeling a little unresolved. The questions raised by the changing messages, the unusual conversations, and the ongoing speculation were still sitting in the background, waiting to either come back in some new form or quietly disappear into that long list of moments that were simply too strange to fully understand while they were happening. What really remained was this strong sense that the line between leadership and performance had become harder to define. The events of the weekend did not just highlight that shift, they seemed to lean right into it, turning what could have been simple developments into something much more layered and, at times, almost theatrical. And it was a reminder that in a world where attention matters so much, even the most serious issues can end up being presented in ways that seem more focused on keeping people engaged than actually giving them clarity.